Okay, tá fáilte romh ag ceacht ever a tree. So you're welcome to lesson number 3 in these tutorials. Anybody new, especially Shan Moore, and I would recommend that you go back to lesson 1, lesson 2 and make sure you take the stuff with you. This time, there's one thing, people always say the Irish language is a difficult language to learn. And in some ways that is true, okay? As a person who come through that process, I'm not going to say every part of it's easy. But unlike, I suppose, in comparison to, say, English or French or other languages, there's one thing, at least in the Irish language, which is a bit of a blessing. And that is, we have only got 11 irregular verbs, okay? And we're going to take a look at, well, we're going to take a look at six of them today, but this is the full 11, okay? And just for anybody who may not, like myself, whenever I started out, I couldn't have told you the difference between a verb and a verb. So for anybody who doesn't know what a verb is, basically it's an action. Every time you say an action in the language, and you'll see here like be, well, I suppose that's more a state, but an action or a state, do or make or go or get or see or say or catch or hear or eat or come or bring, any actions at all, those are verbs, right? And there's, I suppose, the vast majority of verbs in Irish follow patterns. And they stick to those patterns rigidly. So once you learn the pattern, you can apply it to every verb. And whenever you apply that pattern, it allows you to get the past tense in any verb, allows you to get the present tense, the future, or whatever, okay? But there's 11 that just have their own wee rules and their own patterns, and they're tricky. So they just change a lot. So basically, that's why they're known as irregular. They do not follow simple patterns. Now, so I always think, and whenever we were learning, we felt that it was probably best to tackle these difficult verbs at the start to get them out of the way, to learn them. There's another reason why it's important to learn them. They are also the most commonly used verbs. So whenever you apply yourself to this particular process, you will also be, you're not learning 11 obscure verbs that you'll never need. You're learning 11 very, very important verbs in the language. So I would recommend strongly that you do apply yourself to learn these verbs. So basically, there's 11 of them, irregulars. And we're going to, these here are what's known as the stem or the starting point of the word. Just like be or do or go is the starting point in English. Go is the verb. Then you might say did go or went. You might say will go or shall go. You might say do go. But your main starting point is the stem or just the word, the key word. Okay? So equally here in Irish, we're starting off with the stem or the starting point. Okay? So the first one, we have done the present tense in this in lesson 1 and 2. So be, and basically it's be in English. Okay? The second one, do or make, if you, Jan, okay, Jan. Whenever you have a D with an I or E around it, it'll be a J sound, J, not D, J, so Jan. And then the third one here is go, che, okay, che, okay. The GH at the end just sounds like a H more or less, che, and that's go, okay. And again, a T surrounded by either an I or an E, those slender vowels, will be pronounced ch, not t, okay? So che, okay? And the third one, the fourth one, to get something or to find something as well. You can just simply get something, receive it, but as well as that, you could be looking for something and you would find it. So find has two meanings here. So fi, okay? Fi, okay? The next one is see, okay, to see. Not to look, just to receive stuff with the eyes, so just see. So feck, okay, feck. That's not, what do you call him, Father Jack, but feck. And the next one then, very common, the verb to say. So you have I said, he said, you said, a woman said, man said. So aber, okay, aber, okay. And then the next one over here, give, or can also mean bring, tower, okay. So that ABH has a sort of like a O O sound, and there's a sort of a roll as well with it on your lips are around it. So tower, okay. And the next one, come, tar, okay. And then the next one, eat, and it's just like a H pushed out there. You don't say it like an English TH, it's not th, it's just okay, And the next one has two words. I would tend to use the first one here, cling, and that is to hear something, not to listen, but just to hear, to receive it. Listening is more active, you go listening. And then another way of saying hear to something, hearing something is just clush, okay. And then the final one, bert, and bert is to catch hold of something. I probably should have put the word in there as well, or bert, to, you normally grab a hold of something and you normally use okay. But whenever we come to work on the verb, we'll look into that. So basically that's the 11 irregular verbs: be, do, go, get, see, say, give, come, eat, hear and catch. And that's the stem of them there. That's what you would find in the dictionary if you look them up, okay? That would be your starting point, okay? So let's get a wee... there's one thing I would just like to show you about the stem in Irish, and that is this. The stem is also known as, and can be used as, the order form. What's the order form? It's whenever you want to tell a person to do something, okay? So so whenever you learn the stem, you can use it then if you wanted to use that just to tell one single person, not 2 or 3 people. That slightly changes. But you just want to tell one person to carry out that act, then you just use the stem with that one person. So once you learn the stem, you also learn the order form. Now it's not necessarily the military army order form, right? It's just telling somebody to do something. You can tell a way to do something with a wee bit of an authoritative tone with it, or you just sort of, people you're friendly with, you can sort of tell them to do things. You know, no, make me a cup of tea. You don't have to say, please would you like me, make me a cup of tea, or I would like it, you know. So in that sense, you can just give people simple orders to do things, okay? Well, be cautious with doing it with it too abruptly with strangers. Just, we'll look at a few here just to see, right? So we take the first one, be curamach, and that means a curamach is careful. So if you're talking to a child, you can say, be curamach, be careful, curamach, okay? Curamach, be careful. Jan, remember we said was do or make. Jan cup on tea, make a cup of tea. Jan cup on tea. You could say lay the hull to soften it down a bit, please, lay the hull, okay? Lay the hull, please. Jan cup on tea, lay the hull, make a cup of tea, please. And I'm not going to show that, lay the hull, I'm just saying it. Cheamach, go out, cheamach, go out and play, will you? Cheamach, okay? If you were somebody who was going to the shop, or you're already in the shop and you were just buying something and you wanted to sort of, or you're on the phone to somebody who was in the shop, you might say, Fai shacklage, get chocolate, okay? Get chocolate, okay? So the next one, feck, which was see, you really can't really use that for order form because it's really just something you don't, you know, I suppose you don't tell, you can, I suppose, there's a different word to tell people to see things anyway. So basically that's just whenever you actually accidentally see stuff, you know, I saw this and I saw him. It's not as if you're telling people to do it. So just leave feck on the order form. Aber, remember, was say, and then a mach from previous lesson was out, and then this wee word here means it, a. It's pronounced a. Abramache, and that's what it means. Say out it. In other words, say it out. Say it out loud. Where you go. Say whatever you have to say. Don't be pussyfooting about, sir. Abramache, okay? Say it out loud. Come on, tell us what's really in your mind. Abramache, okay? Tor, some people will say dumb. Up in Ulster we tend to say do. I'm not going to say why, but it used to be a H just, but anyway, tor do. And that do means to me. So give to me that. Shin is that. Say that thing, okay? So tor do shin. Give me that. If you were saying to a child, you know, if they had something in their hand, you want to take it off them. Tor do shin. Tordushan. Give me that, okay? Or if you wanted somebody to hand you something over, Tordushan, okay? And you could add anything else instead of shin. You could say, Tordu and cup and tea. Give me that cup of tea or whatever. So Tordu, Tor. Tar, Taristjach. Taristjach, Istjach. Istjach is in. So Taristjach, come in. Taristjach, come in, okay? If you want to tell somebody to eat their dinner, there is another way of doing it. There are several ways, but if you're using this particular verb, you say, well, Junior, the doch for your changes, it puts a hitch in. Doch always puts a hitch in certain consonants. And a Junior, that D-I, a D-I or a D-E with this hitch added into it, after that we'll get a Y sound. So instead of Junior, you now say the Junior, the Junior. Just accept those changes at this early stage. We'll look at the patterns later. Just accept them. So eat the Junior, eat the Junior. Eat your dinner, okay? Eat your dinner. Eat the Junior, okay? Again, if you're talking to a child. You wouldn't use this one very often either. Hear. You wouldn't really tell people to hear things, you know. You might tell them to listen to something, but that would be a different verb. But you wouldn't. But I did see it used, if my memory serves me right, I think way back in the years whenever teachers were able to sort of come down on you like a ton of bricks. There's a book, I think it's Cashly Noor, by Moira Seamus O'Grana, and there's a part where the young boy, I think, says he didn't hear that his name was being called out in the class because the name was being called out in English, and whenever he tells the teacher he didn't hear his name, the teacher comes down on him with a merciful hammering blow, and he says, well, clunshin, hear that boy, clunshin. So you can use it, I suppose, in a very, very limited number of cases, and don't be using it in that instance now. And then the last one then is catch, bear. Grim is like a grip. So catch a grip, and then art is on you, and then fain, although we tend to say hain with a hitch there. So bear grim art hain, bear grim art hain. Catch a grip on yourself. Catch a grip on yourself. In other words, get a grip of yourself. Catch yourself on. Have a bit of sense, would ye? Okay? So, bear grim art hain. Stop that nonsense. Get a grip of yourself. Okay? So those are the 11 irregulars, and that's the stem. But I just wanted to show you how the stem can be used to tell a single person to do something. Okay? But now, what I really want to look at today is look at the past tense of these irregulars. Okay? And they're so commonly used. And we'll take 2 loads here. We'll take them 3 at a time. Right? So we'll do 3. If you want a break, then you go and take a break. And you can come back and watch it later. That's the great thing with this, I suppose, this method. Okay? So, let's see. Past tense. So we're going into the past tense of the first 3. Remember we had be, do and go. Okay? And I don't want to go into a big detail on them, right? I really want to show you how to ask a question in the past tense of each of them. And then how you make a positive statement and how you make it a negative statement. So ask a question in the past of this. Make a positive and negative statement. Ask a question in the past of that one, and make a positive and negative statement. Okay? And the same here, same process. Okay, so let's look at this, right? The first, remember we did the work on the present tense of the verb to be, and we had ta me is I am. Well, vi me is the past of that. I was. Okay, I was. Okay? And then and will to, remember, was are you, but the past tense of that is now and row to. And row to. Some dialects will say rev there, I think, something like that sound. Up here we tend to say row. Okay? And row to, or you might hear and rev to. Okay? And row to, and again, you might hardly hear that N, or you mightn't even hear that word at all. You might hear just somebody saying row to, row to. Were you? Okay? Were you at the match? Were you out at the weekend? We're actually going to look at some samples for each of these 3 shortly, right? And the next, and to say then, I wasn't, ni ro me. Ni ro me. Okay? Ni ro me. And then natural, ni ro me. And row to, ni ro me. And row to, vi me. Right? Okay? I will say, I will come to that on the how to say yes and no properly whenever I get over to the thing. But remember, you can change these here to anything you want. Remember the 6 I give you in the first lesson. So V may I was, V2 you were, V she he was, V she was, V mudge we were, right? Okay. So this can be, you change that there to any person you like, okay? But we're not going to go into the full detail of that because I think we'll do a full lesson on that. For now, just I want to get you the basic question. Were you? I was and I wasn't. The next one for did you do or did you make? If you want to ask the question, that is a nyarna to. Nyarna. Nyarna. So it's N and it's like an NY type sound. Ny. Ny. On nyarna to. Okay? On nyarna to. And again, said fast, you probably just say nyarna to. Nyarna to. Okay? Some speakers up in Ulster might sort of say this, might just go to this D because they have a T after. They might go jarn to and jarn to. But I'm not going to recommend that. But if you did hear jarn to, it is the same thing as a nyarna to. We're going to stick to the more or less the most common thing. Okay? Nyarna to, did you do or did you make? Did you make the tea? Whatever, something like that, right? Did you do your homework? Okay? I did do or I made. So I made the tea or I did do my homework. Again, up in Ulster, and the common thing for us to say is ring me, ring me, ring, ring. Okay, so ring me. Some dialects will say that E at the end, ring me, ring me. Okay, so ring me or ring me. You'll hear me saying ring me. Okay, so I did do or I did make. I did not do or I didn't do or I didn't make or I didn't do my homework. Ni yarna. So it's a y sound this time. There's no N with it. It's just the y. Ni yarna me. Ni yarna me. I didn't do. Ni yarna me. Okay? And again, just the natural speech will be ni yarna me. Ni yarna me. Okay? And then the final one here is did you go? Okay? Did you go out at the weekend? Did you go to the match? Did you go to work today? So useful a thing. So we're in the past tense of these now. So did you go? And I suppose this again to slow down individual elements on nyache, nyache. So it's like a ny sound again, same as nyarna, nyache. On nyache too, and that there's a guttural sound. On nyache too, nyache. Don't say nyaki. It's not a K sound. If you were going to make a mistake anyway, I would just say it like a H. On nyahe too, on nyahe too. If you can't get the guttural sound, say it like a H. On nyahe too. Because it'll sound more natural, but don't sound the C too much. Anyaki too sounds awful, right? So, anyaki too, anyaki too, anyaki too. So that's sort of use of the guttural there, if you can. It takes a wee bit of practice to get that because you don't do that too much in English. And I did have to work on it till it got to the point where I felt comfortable doing it, okay? Anyaki too. And then that's did you go? I went, hui me. Hui me. Flies here everywhere, sorry about that. I thought I'd killed them all. I might have to spray that boy if he comes back. But anyway, hui me, hui me, hui. Hui me, I went. Hui me, okay? And I remember it was, oh no, that's probably a copyright in that joke, so I'll not say it. And then the other one then is, if that's I went or I did go. The English there as well is actually irregular because that goes from go to went. So it changes a lot. And then I didn't go, ni yahime. Ni yahime. Ni yahime. I didn't go. Ni yahime. So again it's like a y sound. Ni yahime. A DH with an E is going to get that y sound. Y. Ni yahime. Ni yahime. Right? And again, natural speech, just get it out there natural, don't overemphasize, just go ni yahime, ni yahime, okay? And that's what it'll sound like, okay? Again, some Ulster speakers you may hear them saying, they might hear, let's say for example, you don't say that on, you'll just hear in fast speech, you'll just hear nyahitu, did you go? Nyahitu, did you go? And then some Ulster speakers tend to, again, just say that the jahitu, jahitu. If you hear it, be aware of it. If you're a learner, just learn on nyahe too, like a law-abiding citizen, would you? Right, okay. The next thing then, we'll move on now and we'll take a look now at each of these maybe in a wee bit more detail. Before I do that, I'm just going to pause this thing 1 second to, there's a something flying around here that's to be taken care of. Right folks, I'm back again there. I had to sort of take care of a major incident there. So basically we'll move on now to this next section. So we're just going to deal with what these first three we did there. We'll deal with them one at a time, okay? So remember, be means be. Remember we learnt in the first lesson that am, is and are is the verb to be in the present tense. Well, in the past tense, the verb to be in English is was or were. Not as where are you, but where as in I was or they were here. So was or were, okay? And you'll see was or were in a lot of these, right? Now, what I will, so remember we learnt there just back in the last slide that on row 2 was were you, on row 2, okay? And again, you might not hear that, just say row 2, okay? And then we say out. There's another word for out, but if we're just saying out last night, we'll look at the different uses of that later. But for now, just accept this phrase the way it is. Am we, right? So am we. That's m sound, a m sound. Am we. Row 2, am we. Were you out? Arrears, okay? Row 2, am we arrears? Were you out last night? Row 2, and we are there, okay? Now, if somebody asks you the question, were you, and if you're asked, or if you're saying, and Roche was he, and Roche was she, if you ever, anytime the question on row is asked, you just, the answer, the way you say yes is just V, because in Irish there is no centralised yes and no. What happens is this. And then if you want to say, just I'll explain in a wee second. If you want to say no, you say Nero. Okay? So V, yes. Nero, no. And it's just your natural instinct to any time you're asked on row. No matter what the question will be, V and Nero are more likely your yes and no answer first. Then you can go on and elaborate. Now, what you're actually saying is this. Were you out last night? Was. Wasn't. Okay? You don't use, whenever you're just responding to a question, were you out last night, don't say V may, I was. Don't say the may. It's not natural, okay? You only say the V may, and if you're going to go on to give more information, you might say, for example, on row 2, and we arrears, were you out last night? The first thing you'll do is say V, yes. Then you might go on and say, V may a D Joe, I was in Joe's bar. Okay, V may a D Joe as an extra piece of information, and that's when you would use the V may if you were just making a full positive statement. But if you're responding instinctively just yes or no to in row, then don't use the may, just say V or Nero. Were you out last night? Was. Were you out last night? Wasn't. There's no need for the I, okay? And that gets you your yes and no, right? So, row 2, and we are there. Were you out last night? Oh, V, I was. V, kincha, I was, surely. Okay, kincha is surely. So V, yes, kincha, surely. And then Nero, I wasn't, or wasn't out, right? So I wrote to him, we were there. Nero, Nero, I wasn't. Okay. Were you working? And then row two, and you hardly hear this on in natural speech. Row 2, a gubbers, working. And yeah is yesterday. And yeah. Row 2, gubber and yeah. And I'm trying to add these wee bits in just subconsciously for you. Arrears last night. And yeah, yesterday. And we'll get a couple more here, right? We're always talking. The past tense will be talking about things you might have done 2 minutes ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, or 2 centuries ago, if you're long enough around, right? So, row 2, gubber and yeah. Were you working yesterday? Row 2, gubber and yeah. And if you want to say yes, V. No, Nero. Row 2, gubber and yeah, Nero. Okay? I don't know why I keep doing that with you all, but it sort of it gives me something to bounce off. Then the next one then I have here, if you were chatting to a child, you know, at the, I say a Gael school or whatever, you could sort of say, ro to school, at school, school, school. Ro to school, and new is today, in new. Ro to school and new, oh, V, I was, Nero wasn't, okay? Ro to school and new, V, kincha, Nero, no, okay? And then say for example, you say, were you talking to Sean this morning? No, because we're always asking people to know if somebody's sort of seen somebody or something about the news. Say you want to say you knew that Sean had a bit of news and you want to know somebody already speaking to him. Were you chatting to Sean this morning? Okay. Row to a canch, and again you don't hear that G, and these two come as a package, talk-ing sort of thing. So that G there, a canch. Row to a canch, and you just go straight out, a canch. Don't slow down with the G. So you just leave it out. Row to a canch, le shan, le, with. So were you talking with or to Sean? Imagine is this morning. Row to a canch le shan, imagine. Row to a canch le shan, imagine. Okay, row to a canch le shan, imagine. Okay, that's the way we go. And again, V, yes. Nero, no. Okay. So that's the past tense, okay, of the first one there, okay? The next one now that we had is jan, the verb to do or make. And the past tense of that in English, what's that? Well, it is did do. I know up around this neck of the woods we would say done, I done my homework, I done my homework. I suppose technically you're not supposed to say I done, you know, you're supposed to say I have done. It's, I don't know if it's a pluperfect or something like that. You're supposed to use that done with have, I have done my homework. But we tend to just use it like we use done around here, like the past tense, a normal past tense. We would go, I done my homework. Okay, well, I did do my homework, I done my homework, or whatever, okay? It can also be made, I made the tea. I made the dinner. I made a kennel for the dogs, no matter what it is. You might say, you can also say did make. It can mean did you make or did make. Anytime you're saying or didn't make, it's going to be the negatives as well. So basically, did do, made or did make, that's the sort of past tense type of things you get in English for this verb. And this is how you get them in Irish. We already seen these examples on the wee starter one we had. So, but we're putting extra things in now to show you how useful it can be in everyday phrases. So, in yarna to, remember we had that. In yarna to, did you do? Doch is combined in with uber because there's a doch. Doch means your, but it's brought over because the two O's run together and you just make one word out of it nearly. Dubber, your work. Dubber walla. Yarna to dubber walla. Did you do your homework? Dobber walla, and that there gets a w sound, w. A bh with an I or an E will get a v sound, a v, but a bh surrounded by an a or an o or a u, which are broad vowels, will get a w sound. Dobber walla. Yarna to dobber walla, okay? And yarna to dobber walla, okay? Did you do your homework? Don't say an yarna to do ober walla. Don't disconnect the do for your off the word uber because the two just run smoothly. Yarna to dobber walla. So if you're asking the child, did you do your homework? Oh, rin, yes, which means did do. And then ni yarna, didn't do. And that's your yes and no for this one. So if anybody ever asks you the question on yarna to or on yarna anybody else, and you want to say yes, you just say rin. And if you want to say no, you say ni yarna. Because again, what you're saying is, did you do your homework? Did do. Did you do your homework? Didn't do. That's how you say yes and no in response to the actions. There is no universal yes and no in Irish, okay? There are some things that are sort of creeping in for it, but this is the natural way to answer, you know. So, in yarna to double walla, rin, kincha, I did surely. In yarna to double walla, ni yarna, I didn't. In yarna to an cup and tea, well, if you put on and shin around anything, it means that thing. On cup and tea shin, that cup of tea. On television shin, that TV. On lao shin, that hand. Okay. So on camera sin, that camera. So in yarnatu, did you do or make? And cup and tea sin, that cup of tea. So if somebody said they were making a cup of tea and you were sort of wondering where it is, yarnatu and cup of tea sin. Yarnatu and cup and tea sin. Did you make that cup of tea? Ring. It's over there. Ní yarna. I was busy. Ní yarna. Okay? No. Yarnatu ginger. Did you make dinner? Yarnatu ginger. Sometimes you use the word ray there, but I just want to keep it simple here for now. Yarnatu ginger. Ginger. Did you make dinner? Rin. Yes. Ní yarna. No. In other words, I didn't do or make. There's an extra way in which you can use this verb to do or make. And I just want to introduce it with one wee sample here. Sometimes you can actually take an other action, another verby type thing, and put it in along with the verb to do. So you can sort of say, did you do a dance? Did you do or make a laugh or laughter? Okay? And it looks in English as if you've actually used a different verb. You think you're using the verb to dance or the verb to laugh, but it's not really. You've just, sometimes you'll hear people using, did you do laughter? In other words, did you laugh? Did you do a dance? Did you dance whenever you were at the wedding last night? Okay? Or whenever you were out at some event? Or if you were at one of the GAA score nights? Yarnatu dausa. So in yarnatu, dausa is a dance. Yarnatu dausa. So did you dance? Even though you're technically saying did you do a dance, but in better English it probably would come out as meaning did you dance. Yarnatu dausa. Yarnatu gaire. If somebody told you something and you were sort of going, I was very surprised at that. No, say you were relating something that happened between you and another person, and this new person you're speaking to was thinking, well, I was surprised now. How did you react to that? Did you laugh at him or whatever? Did you laugh at him? Surely to God you just didn't sit there. So yarnatu gaire and yarnatu gaire, okay, gaire, okay, and yarnatu gaire, rin, I did. Ní yarna, I didn't, okay. So that's the second one of those set of three, okay. And yarnatu, very, very useful, as you can see. And then the third one we had in that particular first wee batch here was the verb to go. Was che, remember, was the stem. But the past tense completely changes from that because it's irregular. It doesn't follow any pattern. And in English, it changes from go to went, or did go, or didn't go, or something like that, right? So that's what you'll normally have in the English. And this is what you do in Irish to get that past tense of the verb to go. Okay? And did you go out last night? Nyahitu. I'm not going to bother saying these to try and get you up to that wee bit of speed. Nyahitu, nyahitu. And then a mach. Now a we is different from the other one with the verb, and row to, just use a we, were you out last night? But this one is did you go out? It's an action. When there's an action, you won't use a we, you will use a mach. There's two words for out. So anytime there's actually an action like go, or come, or dive, or walk out, you'll use this a mach, right? Or a mach. Nyahi to a mach, did you go out? Nyahi to a mach or air, did you go out last night? And again you'll say went. Hui. Didn't go. Ní yahi. That's your yes and your no. Okay? Nyahi to a mach or air? Oh, hui. Nyahi to a mach or air? Ní yahi. Ní yahi. I have no money. Okay? And then next one. Nyahi to gaji in Sportland. Did you go to the gym? Did you go to the gym or the leisure centre? Nyahi to gaji in Sportland. Nyahi to gaji in Sportland. And you today? Nyahi to gaji in Sportland and you? Did you go to the gym today? Hui? Yes. Or I went. Ní yahi. No. In other words, didn't go. Okay? Nyahi to a shoppadaracht. Shoppadoracht. Okay? Shoppadoracht. Okay? Shoppadoracht is the, and then you just say, and that G's not heard because it starts with a consonant. So, just hear now. A shoppadoracht. A shoppadoracht. Okay? You may have heard maybe in the past somebody saying 20 years of growing. Right? Well, that we probably come into the English from this particular structure. I'm chancing my arm on that one. But that we sort of lift there, 20 years of growing and stuff like that. This is where they get this from, right? Okay, so a shoppadaracht. It's just a wee that's all you'll hear. Nyahi to a shoppadaracht. Did you go shopping? anew. Did you go shopping today? Okay. Hui, went, yes. Ní yahi, didn't go, other words, no. Yahi to haar for, right? Now, or's wee bit, you just hear a wee bit of difference here in that or at the end, which will require a wee bit of work, even for myself now. It's difficult for people like us who are not native speakers to get it proper. So, yahi to haar for, okay? Did you go, haar is over, haar for, overboard. Now, it's not overboard on a boat, okay? It's did you go overboard as in did you go too far? Did you go to excess? And you might sort of say, you could use it in the context, for example, yahi too hard for, did you overreact? Okay? And yahi too hard for, did you just do too much? You shouldn't really have went that far. Did you go too far with the whole situation or with the whole issue? Okay? Yahi too hard for, okay? Hui, I went over too far or overboard. Ní yahi, I didn't. No, I thought it was fair enough with them. Okay, so that's those three. Okay, that was the verb to be in the past. We had done some work in the present. We've just introduced the past, but we will do more detailed work on the past tense of it. We did the past tense of the verb to do, and yarna to, and how you respond to that. And we did the past tense of the verb che or go, which was went or did go, and that's in yahi to and how you respond to that. Okay, so basically that's but just before and just to show you something as well. If you didn't want to ask questions here, just say you wanted to make a statement yourself. Well, you know that hui is the positive. So if you wanted to sort of take that, say you just wanted to tell somebody, and you just were given information, you weren't asked anything at all, and you just wanted to say, I went out last night, and you're just offering information. I went out last night. Hui me, I went. Hui me, and you just then take that away there. A maharir, and that's just your positive statement. Hui me a maharir. I went out last night. Okay. And if you just want to volunteer, for example, if you want to sort of boast on Facebook that you were at the gym today, you could just say, Hui me go in Sportland. I went to the gym. Hui me go in Sportland. So you don't have to, that's how you ask the question, but you can also just make statements yourself if you want to give information by using the hui. And yahi to a shop direct, did you go shopping? If you just want to tell me, I went shopping the day. Hui me a shop direct than you. Hui me a shop direct than you. Right, okay? And you want to sort of say, you want to sort of admit before you're even asked, oh, hui me har for. I went way overboard, you know. I was out drinking last night. Oh, hui me har for. I went way overboard. Okay? And I'll give you, to show you, and then you could make the negative of that. You could say, Ní yahi me a shop direct than you. I didn't go shopping the day. You just go the ní yahi and then me for me, and then a shop direct. Ní yahi me go in Sportland and you. I didn't go to the gym today. Ní yahi me a maharir. I didn't go out last night. Okay? So you can do that, and the same with these ones here. Ní yarna me a cup of tea. I didn't make that cup of tea because I got caught up in something else. Run me a cup of tea. I made that cup of tea. There it is over there. You just making statements yourself rather than waiting on a question. And then rin me dausa a rare. I danced last night. I was at a wedding last night. Rin me dausa. Amajach Bajer. Sort of late in the night, one of those ones. So, but basically, you can sort of see, and the same then with, just to go back to this one, wrote to him, we are rare, were you out last night? And remember, the positive of that is V. So you can just say, if you were just offering information, you could just say, V me and we are rare. I was out last night. V me and we are rare. If you want to offer information to somebody saying, well, I wasn't out last night, Ní ro me and we are rare. Wrote to Gubber, were you working yesterday? And then if you want to sort of, instead of waiting for the question, V me a gubber and ye. I was working yesterday, so how could I do it? V me a gubber and ye. Okay, V me a gubber and ye. And then I was talking to Shan this morning, so you're just offering again the information. Vi me constantly Shan or Imagine. I was talking to Shan this morning. Okay, so that's them three. And I say you can learn those, and then before you go up to these next three, okay? You can sort of learn those off and then come to these next three then if you want. But basically, let's see where we're at now with these. Next three is get, see, and come. And maybe rather than go down to this here, because I might just go straight to the sentences in this one, okay? So we'll just go straight on to the sentences to see how this works. So get, fi, in the past tense is got or did get, okay? Where to, and the word, how you say it is where, right? On, where to, and you hardly hear the on. Where to did you get? Ian Arrogate. Arrogate is money. Arrogate. There's like a wee something between the R and the G. Arrogate. Okay. And where to Ian Arrogate? Did you get any money? Where to Ian Arrogate? Did you get any money? Yes. In other words, got. Where? Did you get any money? Nowhere. So somebody was at the, say was downtown or something like that, and you were expecting them to go to the hole in the wall or the ATM machine to get some money. You could say to somebody, where to Ian Arrogate? Did you get any money? Oh, nowhere. I forgot to get the money. Nowhere. Okay. Where to Ian Arrogate? Ian, any, Arrogate, money. And if you just want to offer the information, you could just say, just leave the Ian out. Where me Arrogate? I got money. And then, I didn't get money from the bank. Ni were me Arrogate. Okay, ni were me Arrogate. I didn't get money. Then if you want to ask somebody, did you get breakfast yet? Okay. And where to? Brick. Don't say, some people have a habit of, if a word's close to the English, they have a habit of sliding into the English sound. So you'll hear some Irish speakers saying things like breakfasta, but it's breakfasta, okay? Where to breakfasta go foil, yet, yet. Where to breakfasta go foil, did you get breakfast yet? Where, got, ni were, didn't get. And that's your yes and your no for that verb. So if you want to say, I got breakfast, where my breakfast? I got breakfast. If you want to tell somebody, I didn't get breakfast, you were my breakfast. Imagine, I didn't get breakfast this morning. Okay. The next one, curru. Curru is like an invite. Curru. And sometimes people are waiting for invites to weddings and stuff. So you could sort of say, where to curru go foil? Did you get an invite yet? Where? Yes, got. Nowhere. I didn't get. Nowhere. Right, okay. I didn't get, so nowhere. Okay, that, right, and the next one, and suppose if you were just making a positive statement, for my career, imagine, I got an invite this morning. Ni were my career go foil, I didn't get an invite yet. So you can actually, again, make these positive statements by adding these things into them, or negative statements. Say you see somebody, I know I wouldn't be this carry on myself now, but some people I do see them at it. If they see somebody with a new coat, or if they see somebody with new shoes on them, or shoes that they don't recognise, they'll say something like, you know, I'm supposed to just make a conversation, I'll have a chat about the weather or something quicker, but, oh, we're to Cota Nua. We're to Cota Nua. Did you get a new coat? We're to Cota Nua. Cota Nua. New. Did you get a coat new? Did you get a new coat? We're to Cota Nua. Where? Nowhere. I didn't. We're to Broggy Nua. We're to Broggy Nua. Did you get new? We're to Broggy Nua. Did you get new shoes? We're to Broggy Nua. Did you get new shoes? I suppose technically standard Irish is Broga, not Brogy. Up around here we didn't say Brogy, so sorry about that. But we're to Broggy Nua. Did you get new shoes? Where? I did indeed. Look at them, they're fine. Nowhere. No, I've had them a long time. Nowhere. Okay, so that's the way that operates. And if you were just offering the information again, you would just say, where my coat and nua, I got a new coat. Where my curry, I got an invite. Where my breakfast, I got breakfast. Where my arrogate, I got money. And if you want to make them negative, ni were me in arrogate, I didn't get any money. Okay, I'm not happy. Ni were me breakfast go foil, I didn't get breakfast yet. Ni were me curry go foil, I didn't get an invite yet. Ni were me coat and nua, I didn't get a new coat. Okay, and then the next one, we're in the verb to see. Feck, the past tense of see in English is saw or did see, right? So let's look at some examples. Wakatu, and this is pronounced on waka to, waka, right? On wakatu, What? And again, you're hardly going to hear me saying the on, so just Wakatu. Wakatu, did you see Shan? Wakatu Shan and you. Did you see Shan today? Hanik, saw. Niaka, didn't see. Up in Ulster Irish, you may hear somebody saying Hanaka, or Hanaki, Hanaki, or Hanaka. And sometimes instead of Ni, you'll hear Ulster speakers saying Han or Ha for this Ni, for they didn't see something or the negative. Just be aware of it for your ear, but there's no need to learn it and that unless you want to go down that route. No, I know some learners do go down that route, but this is this more commonly used ending, right? Or negative. Niaka, niaka, right? Okay, so Grease the film, okay? You could use this for, say, did you see, so Wakatu Grease, Ryu. Ryu is ever, Ryu. And some people will say Ariu. There'll be an I in front of it, Ariu. So Wakatu Grease or Ryu. Did you see Grease ever? In English you put the ever in quicker, you sort of go, or earlier you sort of go, did you ever see Grease? In Irish, you wouldn't put the Rio over here. Okay, you just tend to leave it a wee bit to after the thing that you've ever seen. What do Grease Rio? Did you see Grease ever? Did you ever see Grease? Did you ever see Grease the film? Hanik, Kincha. I did surely. Niaka, right? Okay, don't use main if you're just responding to a question. A wakatu a nuachter imagine. A wakatu a nuachter imagine. A nuacht. Did you see the news this morning? Hanik, yes. In other words, saw. Niaka, no. In other words, didn't see. And then sometimes you could say, say you just thought you'd seen something, or somebody did something, or some event happened in the near vicinity, and you might want to say, hey, wakatu shin. Wakatu shin. Did you see that? Wakatu shin. Wakatu shin. And we would tend to just say that. Sometimes, some dialects, you also hear that the A will be combined with that. So they sort of, wakatu a shin. Wakatu a shin. Did you see it that? Did you see it that? And those two come like a package. I tend not to say it, and most people, speakers I would listen to just say, wakatu shin, did you see that? You have an option, but if you hear that, it's not anything extra, it's just those two come as one single unit. Did you see that? Hanik, I did indeed. Hanik, saw, yes. Niaka, I didn't. No, see nothing. Hear no evil, see no evil. Okay, so that's on wakatu. Did you see? Past tense of the verb to see. And the last one, okay, I think, what did I say? Because that's for a different episode, that one. So the last one now is tar. And tar, there's probably a fraction, it does be said long right enough, but tar. It's probably shorter. That's not like tar on the road, sorry about that, but tar. And then the past, that's the verb to come. And in the past tense in English, it's came or did come. Okay? So, Hanig Saracha, Sarka, some people say Sarka, but that between the R and the CH in Irish, you'll hear a wee something. Saraha. So, Hanig Saraha, Awala, and you. Hanig Saraha, Awala, and you. Hanig Saraha, Awala, and you. Okay? Hanig, so Hanig is the thing. Now you notice this one says okay, and you would hear it, strangely enough, you would hear it a bit more in this particular case. Hanig, rather like the on would be dropped a lot quicker than this, I think. And it's just something that struck me there now, so I could be wrong in that, but I couldn't imagine myself not using that air with this. So Hanig Saraha, did Saraha come Awala home, Awala anew today? Hanig Saraha, Awala anew. Hanig came, near Hanig didn't come. That's your yes and no for this verb. Hanig she galua. Hanig she, instead of two it's she. Did he come galua early? Hanig she galua. Did he come early? Or she can also mean it, so you could be talking about a bus. Hanig she galua. Did it come early? Hanig she galua. Or the train. Hanig she galua. I suppose train will be feminine, but Hanig she galua. Did it come early? Or did he come early? Hanig, yes. Near Hanig, no. Hanig the Gardaí. Hanig the Gardaí. Okay. Did the guards come? Hanig, they did. They came. near Hannig didn't come. Okay, so yes and no. Na Gardaí. Notice in English if you say guards, notice the difference in the G's here. In English you say guards, and that sort of G has like a G sound, G, and you're sort of raising the back of your tongue up to get that G, G. In Irish you don't say Gardaí. You don't say Gardaí. You don't use that G sound. Abroad, a G with an A or an O or a U in Irish, it's further back, so it's Gardaí, Gardaí, Gaga. So it's back there a wee bit. So you say Garda or Gardaí. You have to say that properly. It's because in Irish these consonant sounds are crucial to distinguish between one word and another. Sometimes the only difference between two words is whether you're sort of G or G. G or G, and you have to be able to distinguish. So I'm telling you, just do that back there. Gardaí, Gardaí. So we're Hannig the Gardaí, Hannig near Hannig. So don't start that word like we say the word yard in English. While important, you know, I have to say. And then the last one there, say you're running a social event and somebody wasn't able to make it and they wanted to ask you how you got on, you know. So Hannig Skafte, Skafte is a crowd. Skafte more. Hannig Skafte more. Did a big crowd come? In others, did a big crowd come? Hannig Skafte more. Hannig Skafte more. Hannig came. Near Hannig didn't come. Yes and no. Okay. So that's how that operates. One wee thing as well. You know, I suppose in English you would say, did a big crowd come? You know, and in English you tend to emphasise the noun, the crowd. In Irish you tend to emphasise the adjective. Just slightly. It's just a slight difference in the balance between the two. I've noticed, and I've sort of read from a reliable person as well that I do trust, that indeed is what happens. So Hannig Skafte more, did a big crowd come? Okay, would be the natural way to say things. And that goes into place names as well. For example, my own town here, I know that people maybe might watch this, might have no idea where I'm from, but the anglicised sound for our town is Strabane. And that's even in English, that's even the anglicised spelling. The original Irish was on Strabane. And the Buan was the adjective. It's the fair river valley, and the Buan is the adjective, and it got more emphasis. So you would notice, even in whenever you have the anglicised form of our town name, we still keep that emphasis from the Irish. We still say Strabane. We emphasise the ban part rather than the stra. Whereas an English speaker would never do that, who had never heard tell of this town, you know. And that's coming directly from Irish, where a wee bit more emphasis was had fallen on the adjectives describing the word. Okay, basically that's it, folks. And I would say, again, the verb to be, I have already explained that it's a very important verb, and it must be learnt inside up, out and upside down, and we have more tenses to do in it, and we will do more work on it. Secondary, now you have a wee start on them, and I would sort of say try and piece together some questions now from what you've got there. You can sort of say now, did you do your homework? Did you go out at the weekend? Were you shopping today, or things like that? Find an Irish speaker and ask them. If you're writing something on Facebook, why not try and use, maybe not ask the question or whatever, why not try and use some of these things now to make a simple statement on your Facebook of something that you did that day. You can surround it in English or whatever and stick it in there with Irish, but start using, don't be afraid to use your Irish and get it out there, and start writing it if you have to on social media. And the basics, just the basic things, and don't let anybody intimidate you. Just go straight back. Sometimes you have to be a wee bit robust, because some people do like to have a laugh at anything different, or anything new, or anything different, that you might be doing something different today that you weren't doing yesterday. So you'll just have to sort of get a wee bit of a tough skin on you like a rhino, and take that on the chin and go back as equally as robust as you have to sort of take them people on, right? Because you have to be strong whenever you're sort of using a language, especially in an environment where it's not the language of the community. Okay, so Sinead, and I'll do the other irregulars, the rest of them, at some other point, maybe next week. Although these are the most important ones, I think, the ones that are used the most. And I didn't actually, the dirts, I'm just, that'll be okay for now, I was, whatever, I was just thinking out loud, sorry. But I'll maybe introduce some other stuff as well. Okay, give me some feedback on the lessons, and until the next time, I'll see you, okay?